Well, earlier I spoke to Tor Wennesland, the UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process. I started by asking him if he thought a ceasefire could happen soon in Gaza.
I cannot give you the timing for that, but what I can say is that I have been working on this now since the immediate aftermath of the startup. I met with the foreign minister in Cairo on Wednesday in the first week to have the assurances of Egypt's involvement in assuring humanitarian access through Egypt into the Strip. What the Egyptians have done is to provide for that capacity, and now I've sent my humanitarian coordinator there to follow that up, and she's on the ground as we speak.
What does that mean? Are you hopeful that soon aid will be able to enter Gaza?
Well, we cannot have an effective distribution of aid in Gaza in the middle of a war. We need the space to get that in and get it distributed to more than 2 million people on the inside. So that is what we have been working on into the nitty-gritties over the last days, and that's
is it coming, though? Do you think it's going to happen anytime soon?
I think it's going to happen, and I hope it will happen as soon as possible.
Well, let's bring in now Palestinian journalist Hani Abu Isheba, who joins us now live from Khan Younis in southern Gaza. Good to have you with us. You might have heard there the comments of the UN Special Envoy for the Middle East peace process, talking about hopefully aid coming in soon. No doubt it can't come soon enough. Tell us what people are facing right now in terms of the need for basic aid, like water. Do they have even water at this point in Khan Younis?
Okay, well, thank you. Well, the situations right now are just aggravating due to shortage of essential needs. We're talking about water supplies and food supplies and medical supplies, the three important essential needs for human survival. I'll give you just an example of people that I just talked to. It takes them half a day, a little over half a day, just to get a few bottles of water, and it's only to drink them. I'm not talking about the luxury of having water, running water, where they can take showers and wash their faces or brush their teeth. None of this is present at all. We are talking about only drinking water. And in most areas in the Gaza Strip, from the northern part all the way to the south that was designated by the Israeli army as safe place for people to evacuate to, has the same serious problem as the northern part. Now, without a humanitarian passage or humanitarian corridor, as the UN envoy describe it, I think we are headed to a humanitarian catastrophe in the coming few days, if it's not already happening in some parts of Gaza. Yep.
All right, and as you're talking, I just want to point out, stay with us for a second, I just want to point out to our viewers, we're looking on the left side of the screen of scenes really picking up in Beirut. We understand that's a demonstration taking place close to the US Embassy. Hezbollah called for a day of rage, and we're seeing things apparently getting really heated up, and we can see security forces lining up there trying to contain those demonstrations. So clearly, what's happening, Hani, in Gaza is moving the Arab street at this point. Tell us a little bit about how people are coping now. We see, for example, after the strike on Ahli Baptist Hospital, a lot of civilian casualties being rushed to other hospitals, but they were already running low on basics. Do they have fuel, electricity?
Oh, that's right. I mean, hospitals across the Gaza Strip are running beyond their capacity. I'm aware of a Shifa hospital is running 5 times beyond its capacity. Other smaller hospitals, like the one I'm reporting live from, it's 3 times beyond its capabilities to accommodate patients, let alone casualties from airstrikes. What the incident did, it created an outrage across the world. I know there is a widespread condemnation of the attacks on the Baptist Ahli hospital in the Gaza Strip. What's important to point out, the hospital was sought by many people who were asked to evacuate the northern part and Gaza Governorate, and took it as a shelter to protect their families. So what they did literally, they sat in group. By evening time, each family gathered its family members and sat in group, either to have a little chat about the war, or whether they were going to be safe or not, or have whatever food they had at that moment. The attacks shatter any sense of security to Palestinians. So from where I'm reporting right now, the hospital has been a site, for the past 2 hours, a site of two major elements. One, that it creates a sense of anger and tears and sorrow for people. Remaining family members start pouring into the hospital, collecting dead bodies of their family members who died in the airstrikes earlier today. The other elements of the scene here is more people, despite knowing the danger involved in taking hospitals as dangerous because due to the fact that a hospital that was taken care and sponsored by a church was targeted, and most civilians who were there were killed. Despite that, people are still thinking that it might be safe enough for them and not sleep in the streets. So that's how it's a kind of ironic, but this is the reality of how people are thinking about right now.
All right, thank you so much, Hani, for relaying to us the situation there in the south of Gaza. And we are continuing to look at those live pictures coming in from Beirut, where it seems like security forces playing something of a cat and mouse game with protesters gathered in the Lebanese capital. We saw them firing tear gas, trying to disperse demonstrators angry at the Israeli strikes, particularly the strike on the hospital last night, following which Hezbollah called for a day of rage. We're certainly seeing a lot of angry scenes playing out in Arab capitals like Beirut today.